So we're here today with our 80 EV. I don't know if you guys saw it in the last video, but we did have a problem where our chain just kept spinning all the time, which isn't a very safe thing to have. I don't really feel comfortable using the saw like that. So we're gonna try and dig into it and see what the problem is. I think it's in the clutch spring. That's what the previous owner said. It makes kind of sense. If it's weak or broken or something, it would run all the time. So let's get into it. So on the saw, I've already taken the bar and chain off and just the guard that goes on top of it. And I think we found out a little bit where we can see what's causing the problem. But this is the clutch drum, and so this is the driver that actually drives the chain. But it should just continue to freewheel when I spin this, and it's getting caught on something. It almost feels like right here. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, I got the spark plug out and I got a string stuck in there to keep the engine from rolling over. And I got the little nut that was on the end of the crank off, but those are the threads from the nut. This thing was stripped out here. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I just put my socket on there to get it off, and it just rolled and rolled and rolled. And it's weird because these are left-hand threads. They make these left-hand threads so that way they won't loosen on themselves, because the engine's rotating this way and the left-hand threads self-tighten. But I ended up getting it off. I just stuck the vice grips on there, and by pulling and rotating to the right, because it's left-hand thread, it came off pretty easy, so I was lucky in that. But another thing that I'm looking at here is, I thought it was the clutch spring, but that clutch spring looks very intact. So one thing I did kind of notice is, as I'm rotating it around, if you look right here, it almost looks like it's warped a little bit. So I'm not, maybe we need a new clutch drum, I'm not sure. So I did a little nosing around on the John Deere parts website, and that clutch in there, there's one clutch spring on the outside, and there's supposed to be another clutch spring on the inside. So let's dig that off and see what that inside spring looks like. Okay, so I just pried this spring out of there, and if that inside spring was any good, I don't think they'd be falling out here. So I think we found our problem. And actually, if I take and, sorry about this, yeah, that's just kind of flopping around in there. So, oh, which way did he go? I don't know. We'll get the rest of these out, and a good step in the right direction. Now we got to find parts for it, which could be a whole nother hassle. Okay, so I got half the clutch weights out, and this end just snapped off here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but all I'm doing is taking and kind of basically prying these out. There's not much to it. You just got to make sure they flop out like that. There you go. And I want to make sure that I put them in the same way, directionally, this way and that way. You know, I'm sure that this is a wear surface right here, so we don't want to be upsetting that. I'm just laying them off to the side here. Oh, I can just imagine this is going to be god-awful to put back together. Okay. There's the last two. Yeah. Okay, so that one went here. This one will go there, but yeah, there's the problem. So I guess we only had half of our spring, I guess spring tension, since there were two springs. So we'll need to find two springs somewhere. I checked on the Deere website, and looks like that might be a possibility. I don't know. Okay, so to get this center clutch part off, what I had my string inside the piston to stop the piston, keep the crank from turning. And what I did was I just took and placed my pin punch on one of these holes here and smacked it with a hammer. It took quite a bit, but these are also left-hand threads, so lefty tighty, righty loosey, and there it is. Now we'll take and I'm gonna have to put the clutch weights on this. I might have to take this back plate off here to do it. Okay, so I got my clutch lined up, well, set up here, and I'm just going to take our new clutch spring, and it looks like I should be able to just kind of press it in here. There we go. So that's one half done. This is going to be the back half. I'll put the front on too at the same time while I'm at it. Also, I think I'm going to take and try and line up these splices on the hub part, so that way it doesn't move as much. I'll actually take it, well, it's easier. Easier said than done. There we go. There. And that's our new clutch. Okay. So we can see how nice and evenly spaced they are now. Before, I don't know if I showed it on the video, they all look like they were pulling one way or the other. So I'll take and put this plate back on here. Set one on like so. And now that we have our clutch back together, we'll just take and thread it back on. Actually, one thing I'm going to do before I do that, I'm going to take some acetone and just wipe down the faces of the clutch weights, just so that way there's not any, I'm sure I got grease and oil and hand stuff on my hand from anywhere on here, just on these clutch weights, and you don't want to have those slipping. So I'll do that quick and put that on there. Okay, so now that I got that cleaned up, I'm just going to take and thread it back on there. Oh, hopefully straight. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to take and roll the piston back over so that way it bottoms out on our string again. I don't really know that there's a torque spec on here, but as the engine's rolling, it's going to self-tighten, as there's a load on the chain. So I'm really not too worried about it. We just don't want to have it, loose. And we'll call that good. Okay, so I got that tightened up. Next thing to do is clean up the inside of this clutch drum. I got some acetone on here just to get a nice clean surface. And we'll take and install our pilot, or I don't know what it's called, little needle bearing here. That's gonna go right over there, and there, that spins way better. Okay, then I'll put the nut down there. I'm not sure what the torque is yet. I gotta run to John Deere and get that part. Those clutch springs ended up coming off of a guy on eBay. He's had some new old stock ones. The John Deere part number kicked me back to a Echo part number, and I called the Echo dealer and they said, nope, we don't have those anymore. You're pretty much on your own. So we're lucky we found some parts, but after this it's pretty simple. Okay, so I went to John Deere, got my new clutch bolt here, $1.69. It's a left-hand thread, M8 lock nut, so I figured good luck trying to find that anywhere else. This should just thread right on here. Here we go, look at that. Okay, now I still have my piston locked with our string. I'm just going to tighten them up. There, we'll call that good. I don't know what the actual torque spec is, but this still spins free and that's pretty tight. So next thing to do is going to be put the bar on. First thing that we do is clean up our little washer plate. So it looks like this. I know it's the inside because this is the pattern here that matches that. He'll just slide on there like that. So next we're going to back off our chain tightener. Okay, that should be good. We're going to install our bar next. I've already gone ahead and blown out the guide where it goes. Okay, he's on there. Next is the chain. Make sure you got it facing the right way. This can be kind of a pain here. Yep. We might have to. Oh. You might have to loosen up your chain tightener a little more. Go. Now it should just fall right over here. Perfect. Okay. So we'll just leave it kind of slack like that. Is it? Hold on. No, that's upside down. It goes like this. There we go. And I can tell the way that it goes because it matches this pattern in here. So this will be our clutch guard. Okay. And then there's two more M8 nuts. M8s are basically 1/2 inch. But we're not going to tighten these up right away because we still have to tension our chain, so we still want it to move a little bit.
And we're just going to spin our tightener in. See it taking up a lot of that slack.
There we go. And then we know we have it properly tensioned. We can come over here to the top of the chain, and it should be able to, you should be able to pull it up just so that way these drive teeth come out of the guide bar. And so then after we have it like that, we're going to just take and tighten up our bar bolt. You don't want to go too tight with these because you can strip out the studs in the actual block and then you'd be pretty fucked. Basically just tight enough that it doesn't go anywhere. And you're going to double check your chain tension. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to roll our chain. Probably do a couple rotations here and then check our chain tension again. You can see it actually moved a little bit. It loosened up. it settled in, so we'll have to retension it. So we're going to loosen up our bar bolts just a little bit. Tighten it back up. Okay, there, that's better. I just want maybe another quarter turn more. That's all it really takes. And then tighten them back up. Okay, do it again. Roll your chain. Perfect. Okay, so here's our first test run. You can press it, pull the choke out. There we go. You can see that the chain walked a little bit, but that was just because it was idling so high. I had it set really high. So turn it down and it works like it should now.